Could you turn me up in the headphones a little bit?
Bow, boy, where you been? It's TeeJay the artist. You rockin' with me. You are the smartest, and we back with another video. College basketball games are officially coming back. He got some news about it. I saw the tweet on Twitter or X, or if y'all want to call it X, and I'm excited because we get a different basketball game other than 2K. We about to watch the video right now. Let's do it.
We just got some of the best news in sports video game history.
I think the last one was 2010.
Returning. This news came out of nowhere. No one was truly expecting it.
I can't wait
right now. I mean, we're in the middle of college football 26 season. We've got tons of news dropping. We've got gameplay videos that I got to get out later today. I've been grinding other videos.
I wonder when it's gonna come out though. That's the real question. When is this going to come out?
This week. And then in the middle of all that, EA says, hey, guess what? College basketball games are coming back. What is going on? Now, I know that I mainly just cover football games on this channel, but for a game this big and for how passionate I know a lot of my watchers are for college sports, we're going to have to cover this game going forward. So, you know, if you're not a basketball fan, maybe just ignore these videos, but we're going to have to follow the development of the first college basketball game in over 15 years. The reason all these college games initially went away was because EA got sued over their college basketball game.
They got sued because of that money
back in like 2009. So to see this now finally come full circle and this is now going to be coming back in a few years, it's an amazing story. This is what EA Sports tweeted this morning. They said, bring the madness, let's run it back. College basketball is in the game. And everybody's freaking out.
You see how many views that thing got, bro?
It's an amazing story.
You see how many views it got?
They said, bring the mad.
4 million views. People want it, bro. They want the college basketball game,
and
bro.
Everybody's freaking out because while the college football game did really good last year, in fact, it was the best-selling sports game of all time, no one was truly sure if they were going to dive into a basketball game just because college basketball is not nearly as popular as college football. But seeing how the football game did, it's almost a guarantee that the basketball game will do pretty good as well. Maybe not as good, but it's still going to do good. And so it was rumored a few months ago that both EA and 2K internally were talking about potentially bringing a college basketball game back, but that's really all we had heard. There was nothing too.
2K. Yeah, listen, you heard what he just said.
Basketball is not nearly as popular as college football, but seeing how good the football game did, it's almost a guarantee that the basketball game will do pretty good as well. Maybe not as good, but it's still going to do good. And so it was rumored a few months ago that both EA and 2K internally were talking about potentially bringing a college basketball game back, but
see, EA and 2K coming together to make a college basketball game? I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know how that's going to work because if you think about how the my players work for 2K, the way that they make a bunch of their money is when it comes to building the character, and you got to buy VC to put your attributes up. You don't have to buy VC, but to get there faster, you got to buy VC. But if you take your player through college and then go over here, like, what's that? That's gonna be this is what I'm saying, bruh. Like, how is that gonna work? It's gonna be iffy. He said that's gonna be iffy. How is that gonna work? Oh, I just noticed something, y'all. You can see the chat. Oh, you can see the chat on my, like, right over my head. Put a bunch of stuff in there real quick. But yeah, that's gonna be iffy, bro. That's gonna be iffy, bro. Cause EA, they don't really be on that, you know what I'm saying, overspending for real. So it's like 2K gonna come in there like, hey, y'all gonna have to get with the times. As for that money, we gonna see.
That's really all we had heard. There was nothing too concrete.
And then people views
until this morning. Now, I'm really looking forward to this because this is kind of the first time we're going to get true competition between major sports games in many years. As you know, when it comes to football, it's just EA. They've got Madden and now college football. There's no other company that makes either. With baseball, it's just MLB The Show. And with basketball, for many years, it's just been NBA 2K. This is really going to be the first time that any of the major American sports have two different companies making a game. We'll have 2K making NBA, and we'll have EA making college, which is going to be interesting because we just haven't had that in the sports gaming landscape in quite some time. And both sides are clamoring for it. We would all like multiple companies to make games of the same sport because at the end of the day, that typically is going to give us a better product. So
every time,
not only is this going to
that's a fact. That's a fact. That is a fact. If you have competition, you're going to try to put out your best product. No competition, you just going to do what you want to do. Because people, that's the only, if you want to play basketball, this is what you got to do. But if it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different basketball games, oh, you gotta, you know what I'm saying?
For just basketball fans in general, for college fans, but it could be really good for just 2K fans in general because having another basketball game on the market that's going to be getting popularity could push them to do more things in their game. So I think that's great. And another thing that's interesting is that this is going to be the first college basketball game that's going to have a lot of things for the first time. Because if you remember back in the day, the last time we had college basketball games or just basketball games in general around that time, they still hadn't fully hit their stride like they did throughout the 2010s. Like NCAA basketball 2010 didn't have an online dynasty. College basketball games never had an online dynasty. I don't even think you could create teams in that game. I'm also pretty sure there wasn't a career mode because career modes in basketball games came a bit later than the football games because NBA 2K10 was the first time that they started a My Career, which was the same year of NCAA basketball 2010, and they didn't have that in the game. So when this college basketball game comes back, it'll be the first one to have online dynasties, a real career mode, like a Road to Glory basketball.
Online college basketball dynasty. That might go crazy, I ain't gonna lie.
Ball version and things like that, which will be really, really fun. And another tidbit I did want to throw in there because we had heard that EA was working on this months ago, that they want to bring more open world stuff to their sports games, and they specifically mentioned their soccer game. They mentioned American football. I would think that they're going to also implement this into any college basketball game they're playing, just because that's kind of become a staple in NBA 2K. So if you're bringing back in a way a competing basketball game, even though it's college, I think you're going to probably add that as well, because
if they have a mode where you can play with your friends against other people's teams, I would do it. Listen, that is what really will like interfere with 2K. Because if you could play college basketball with your homies versus other people, that's where you have your battle at.
2028, we should have this in games like Madden and college football. They're gonna, be putting it there for the career mode type stuff. I do think this could be cool for college and college football.
When is it coming out?
And the same would be true for a college basketball game. So I do think that's something we can probably also expect to be a part of this because we already know it's something that they're heavily invested in and working on. Now we're going to continue on with some other important info that we got about this game today, but really quickly I want to shout out today's video sponsor, Underdog. If you like sports and you like a ton of college, they kind of have only 5 new code RAY for that deposit credit and a free play. So now that we have a college basketball game coming back, we got to talk about Matt Brown. If you were around here for the college football 25 news cycle, then you know who Matt Brown is. He was getting a ton of info over the years leading up to the release of that game, and he brought us a lot of good info along the way that kind of held us over until the game dropped. Well, it looks like he's going to be back in a big way for college basketball because he's already given us a little bit of info on it. He had said a while back that he heard that they were potentially looking into something, but I mean, again, a lot of people heard that. We didn't really know, how true that was.
Okay.
Well, this morning he did mention a few things about this game once the announcement broke. One of those things was that it will not be called NCAA basketball, which I think we kind of expect that. He said the working title is EA Sports College Basketball, which I would pretty much already say, yes, that's going to be the title. They're going to just do the same thing they did with football.
Because this could set up for EA Sports College Baseball, EA Sports College Wrestling, EA Sports College Swimming. Easy.
Why rock the boat? Keep the branding similar. And it says the NCAA will participate as a licensing partner, but will not be in the title of the game. So that'll be pretty interesting there. NCAA will still have involvement with the game. Another thing that he broke was that the game is going to include women's basketball programs. So this would be a
women's basketball. So this would be a standalone title with both. Wait, what? This proposal also calls for the inclusion of women's basketball programs, so this will be a standalone title with both men. Okay. I thought it meant standalone, like it'll be a women's game and then a men's game, but no, they're putting everything together. You know what I want to do? Like, let's say we do a play now matchup. You choose the Kentucky Blue Devils, but I choose the women's South Carolina. I want to see, can we do that though?
Standalone title with both men and women's college basketball teams and players, which does make sense because if you remember, the last time NBA Live round was Live 18 and 19, they were the first game to include WNBA teams inside their men's basketball game, and then since then 2K has followed suit and they include the WNBA inside of NBA 2K as well. So this kind of makes sense. EA was the first to do something like that, so why wouldn't they do it with college basketball? And honestly, nowadays women's college basketball is really popular. I'm not going to necessarily say it's more
women's
popular
basketball
than
is definitely more popular than college
Clark, you maybe could have made that
basketball.
argument because they were getting
women's
a lot of
college is
viewers,
better than
but
college.
Women's college basketball
men's college
has grown in popularity quite a bit, so it makes sense to include them in the game. And when you also factor in that unlike college football, you know, basketball teams have much smaller rosters, so it doesn't really make sense for them not to include the women because the number of players total, you know, is still something they can work with. Now, it's also been said that this game is not expected to be out until 2028, which again makes sense.
2028. I almost cut the damn video off. Damn, bruh. What if college basketball come out before GTA? If college basketball come out before GTA,
that's about the working time that they had
bro.
to get college football out. It took them about 3.5 years. And remember, they had a jumping off point with the Madden game. I don't really think they have a jumping off point with this unless they can still kind of piggyback maybe a little bit off of what they did with NBA Live 19, but that's so many years ago. I feel like you would maybe want to start completely fresh. Maybe they don't have to go all the way down to ground zero, but it's definitely going to be less of a jumping off point than they had with Madden.
Bruh, I'm telling you, bruh, if it come out before GTA, bruh.
For example. So maybe they've already been
working
on it.
If it come out before GTA, bruh.
Maybe they started a few months ago, but 2028 is when we can expect this. So we know from dealing with college football the first time around, these things take time. They can't just pop this game.
I think I gotta change my settings too, from the time that y'all type in the chat to the time that it actually hits my what's the name.
Even with all the time they had to work on it, there were still a number of things that weren't there that we still wanted. There were still a number of things that didn't work perfectly.
Oh,
so
get it out.
It's just when you're trying to make a sports game and add a lot of depth and add all that atmosphere and stuff from college, all the little things, you know, it does take a lot of time because there's so many different programs. So we know that it's going to take time, but we're excited now to have this back. As soon as we get any more news on this, I'm going to make videos on it.
I sound like wifey home.
College football season, because for the rest of this week, there's a ton of exclusive videos I got dropping, and you're not going to want to miss it.
Listen, man, this is going to be fire, bro. I can't wait.